Hello there. Today we're going to be installing Python with pip and VS Code. Now, if you're here because you're expecting me to play with snakes, you're in the wrong place. For those of you who actually intended on being here, I'd like to know, why are you installing Python? Did you see the salaries of some engineers at Google and stuff and you're trying to chase that bag? Are you in a college course and the instructions were terrible? Or are you just working on a passion project? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, before we actually install Python, if you've installed Python before, you need to uninstall it. The reason being is if you have multiple versions installed, it's going to cause you lots of issues. Let me show you how to check that really quick. You can either hit the Windows key or hit Windows down here, type in Python, and you can see, oh no, I have it installed. So I'm going to right click and go to uninstall. And now this is going to bring up programs, and features. I'm going to click here on the version and click uninstall. I'm going to remove it. Now we still have this leftover Python launcher, so we're going to click on that and uninstall that as well. Click yes, and boom, it's gone. So to install Python, first we have to download it. Go ahead and click on your favorite browser. Go to python.org, click on downloads, click on download Python 3.11.0. If there's a newer version out, then whatever the newest version will be there. Then we're going to click on open file. We want to check this add python.exe to path. What that's going to allow you to do is run Python from the command prompt. And then we're going to click this install now, and it's going to install idle, pip, and documentation. When you click it, then it's going to ask you this to make sure that you actually want to install it, protections, and we click yes. And now it's installing. Now, while it's installing, I want to just mention what pip is. Pip is used to install different packages. What happens, and one of the cool things about Python, is a lot of it is open source. So that means people work and collaborate in groups to actually build packages that you could then use, so you don't have to do all the work. And there are a ton of popular things that other people build on top of. Now at this last screen, what we want to do is go ahead and click this if you have this option. That will disable path length limit. That's in case your directory is really, really long that you had for your default in the very, very first screen. If it was too long and you don't do this, then it just won't work. There's no harm in doing this, so just go ahead and press this. And then click yes, and hit close, and we have Python installed. Now we have Python installed, but unless you understand how to use the command prompt and you understand how to program and save something as a .py file, you really can't do anything at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to install VS Code or Visual Studio Code. And that is an IDE or integrated development environment. What that means is that it has a source code editor in there. And that also, as you're typing the code, tries to help you along. It tells you if you have certain errors or where it suspects certain errors are. It tells you if packages are actually imported that you're intending on using. And then it also helps you fill in code as you're writing code. Now, once again, open up your favorite browser, and we're going to type in code.visualstudio.com. And then we're going to click on this button here, download for Windows stable build. And then now we're going to get this in our download folders again. Click open file. You want to accept the agreement. You can just leave it at the default unless you know what you're doing. Click next. And then this is going to create a shortcut. Click next. I like to create a desktop icon for sure. We're once again wanting to add to path. And then we're going to just click next and install. Then go ahead and click finish. It's going to launch Visual Studio Code or VS Code. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is browse the color themes here. You're probably going to want to change to dark mode. This is what light version looks like. That is going to blind you. It is terrible. Trust me, you probably want dark. But there's also more themes here. So default dark plus is not bad. Dark isn't bad. Play around with these, figure out which one you want. But trust me, when you're staring at a screen, you probably don't want the default. Now, I do want to give you a little bit of a lay of the land here. So right here, we have File Explorer. This is going to let us open up folders or create a folder. And usually you want to create a folder and then add each of your files into that folder. There's a search. This allows you to search everything in your folders. And you can use this to do mass replaces. And it's really handy if you have tons of files, because often when you get into more complex projects, you're not going to just have one file. Then this is source control. You're going to eventually want to get Git, but we're going to skip over that. This is for debugging. And then this is a list of extensions. And for extensions, I highly recommend that you install this one, which is a ton of extra things that are published from Microsoft that a lot of people enjoy. So we're going to just hit that, which is going to install the extension. See, it's installing a bunch of different things here. Okay, so let's go ahead and write and run our first program. Click here, and we're going to add a folder. And I'm just going to add it on the C drive. So I'm going to click on my C drive. I'm going to add a new folder, and I'm going to call it Python projects, then add. And then what we want to do is trust authors, because it's us. And then we could right click and go new file. And we're going to type in hello. Now look at the icon here. That does not have a certain program type to it. But if we rename this hello.py, it's going to actually change into the Python. So it's recognized. You could also do something like hello.html and see it's going to change into an HTML. So let's rename back into .py. And what I want you to type here is print. And we're going to open brackets. And we're going to use a double quote. And it's going to fill in the other side. And then type hello world. And then now we're going to run our program by pressing this play button. And in the terminal here, it'll show you the path where Python's installed, then the path where the Python script is that we just ran, which is C Python projects hello.py, and then the output of the program, which is hello world. So you just made your first program and you printed your first thing. If you found this helpful, please like the video. And if you subscribe to the channel, what we're going to be doing on it is a bunch of other little tutorials covering all the basic knowledge. And then we're going to start building projects from the ground up, including all the information you need to know so you can fill all the gaps and learn Python as quickly as possible.